Good morning. Welcome to 365 Days of Richer Living, daily morning reading, meditation, and prayer time. I'm Reverend Ray Fellis, Senior Minister and Spiritual Leader at Columbia Center for Spiritual Living in Columbia, Maryland. Today is December 19th. Having received light, I pass it on to others. And the reference quote this morning comes from the 43rd Psalm, verse 3. O send out thy light and thy truth. And the reading begins. The light of truth is within me, and I release it every thought and feeling. The light of God has always been in me, yet only lately have I realized what it was. I now know that it is the divine using me as a center of perfect operation. I know that this truth which I have sought and found. I know that it is my highest self, and that I am right here in my present circumstances. God in me at this moment illuminates my whole consciousness, and I am free of all untruth. Alerted to the light, I give this light to others. Every word I speak is a light to humanity. Every thought I think is a treatment to all who I know. The light of truth cannot be dimmed. I may not see it some of the time, but it remains within me, awaiting my recognition. This light is the light of my world. As I look out at my environment, I am looking through the eyes of light. I see all things clearly, easily, and normally. Through my eyes, the light of God flows out, and healing appears everywhere. I see only the good, the true, and the eternal. I see God in every person, and love in every heart. Others see this light in me, and rise to new heights of accomplishment. I see truth made manifest, and one mind releasing itself. By their sight of God in me, they are healed physically, mentally, and financially. There is a radiance that shines from me, for God's healing light is the true light of my soul. There are no dark corners in my thinking. Memories of the past, actions of the present, and hopes of the future are all exposed to this light and are cleansed. The wrong is erased, and the right is amplified. I let my light shine to bless and benefit my neighbor, for it is God's light shining through me. Releasing the light, I am immersed in lights, and true perception is mine. I see God everywhere. I see God in everyone I meet. I see God in the little and the great. Omnipresence is manifested to me. Having received the light, I now pass it on to others. So let's take that into our time of meditation and contemplation. one power, one source, one substance, one life, one mind, one heart, one breath, one cause of all that is, one self-existent. And by self-existent, I'm recognizing that it exists within itself, that it was not created out of any other thing. That, in fact, it is the thing that creates out of itself. That it is eternal. And by eternal, I am recognizing that it has no beginning. It simply always has been. It simply is. And so a thing that has no beginning can have no end. It is that source, that substance, that energy out of which all life expresses. It is the visible and the invisible. It is the invisible made visible. It is within, as, and around all of creation. Every idea expressed in form is an idea in the mind of the infinite to experience itself as the thing it expresses as, in relationship to all things expressed, in relationship to that divine self that is the truth, that is the illumination, that is the essence of all being, that authentic divine self, that relationship of one, the physical self with the divine self, the relationship of the multiplicity of expressions of one infinite being that is never separate from itself, yet expresses an exquisitely individualized, one of a kind, never again to be repeated individualizations of itself. It is the changeless, nameless power, substance. And yet it has many, many names. And by nameless, I am simply recognizing the infiniteness of its being, the limitlessness of its being, that it cannot be captured or contained or limited by any one name. It is all names and no name. It is all genders and no gender. It is all form and no form. And being created out of it, by it, to be a point where it expresses, I recognize that I am all that it is. And all that it is lives, moves, and has its being within me. And yet the individualized me is part of something greater. And so I allow myself in this moment to simply recognize that I have always existed in perfect unification, in perfect wholeness. with Source and with every expression of Source. That the individualization in form does not create a separation. And so I acknowledge, I embrace, I celebrate my inextricable connection with all of life. The wind that caresses my face, the hawk that sits in the tree, each and every person that has ever walked this planet and will ever walk it, I am one with. Every animal, mineral, vegetable, I am one with. One with the cosmos, one with the micro, one with the macro, one with every expression of creation. That I live in an awareness of the truth of my being. That I live in an awareness, in an illuminated awareness that recognizes and lives in a level of intentionality that takes ownership for everything I think, do, and say impacts everything, everybody. Because there is only one. And all action, all thought, all breath, all everything impacts the whole. I hold myself accountable to live in an awareness of this truth. To be intentional. To be a part of healing all sense of separation by living the inextricable connectedness of one. As I become aware of thoughts that are discordant in one mind, in consciousness, in the use of consciousness, I take responsibility to stop and treat and breathe illumination and light at the unseen level, knowing that every breath, every moment of treatment simply makes truth more available. I refuse to live in divisiveness. I refuse to separate myself for the pleasure and convenience of condemnation of another. And in its place, I live by principle. And I adjust over and over again as I find that my living in principle, from principle, is off target. And I adjust. And I return over and over again to the truth of my being, which is the truth of all being, knowing that as I do, the whole is healed. as each individualized expression awakens to its magnificence, the whole body of the infinite is healed. Illumination, light, shines itself on those areas of blind spots. And so whether I become aware through social media or on the news or simply walking through the aisles of the grocery store, whatever is illuminated, that is a call for alignment, that is a call for love, I respond from the center of my being. I access the ability within me to respond to life, from life, as life, to participate in the mental healing, to illuminate truth, by actions, by thoughts, by feelings, by urges, by actions, by silence, by simply being the truth that is illuminated to me. I allow it to operate through me. I take responsibility for those places within me that are healing. And by me, I am referring to the whole of humanity, the whole of life. I take joyful ownership that if I spot it, I got it, because there is no separation. And the whole idea of guilt, shame, and blame are eliminated. And in its place, healing and freedom. Freedom from all discord, which is the result of separation. Healing all sense of separation. I move through this day in an intentional awareness that everywhere I look, there the infinite is, expressing itself in this incredible, beautiful, joyous multiplicity of diversity. Diversity in people, places, things, animals, situations. I celebrate, and I find myself within each, and I find each within myself. And I celebrate that holy communion and connection. And I am grateful. I am grateful for the activity of law, the operation of creation, the doer of the creative process that simply receives the impress of mind and acts upon it, that perfectly coordinates the unfolding of life itself in ways that leave me in awe and wonder. Grateful for the operation of creation that cannot be manipulated but only used, accessed, set in motion, never controlled, never contrived. I celebrate that brilliance of creation. And so knowing that the word spoken is consciousness moved into action, into being, into becoming, into that activity of law, the doer. I know it's already complete because there is no time and space in the infinite. There is only now. And so I recognize that right now it is done. It is done. And so knowing that it is complete, I stand in faith. A faith that demands that I let go. That I release my word, and by release it, I'm literally reminding my human brain to take my hands off, to take my mind off, to let go of all sense of doubt, to let go of all beliefs that would impede or negate that which I have spoken as the desire of my heart. I let go. And I stand in the courage, asking only for the knowledge of God's will for me, the divine's will for me, creation's desire to express as me, and the power to say yes, to see the path presented, to follow it, to carry it out. I let go of all resistance. And I simply say yes. Ashe. Shalom. Aho. Amin. Amen. And so it is. Namaste.